going on YouTube? We back with another video, and yes, we switching it up a little bit, doing a little something new. I don't usually do no shit like this, but let's get right into it. Yo, that nigga noodles turned to frozen. Look at this shit, man. How is you supposed to eat in this type of shit?
You are standing on an uninhabited island, and dozens and hundreds of slippery, crawling bodies are rustling around you.
Snakes, boy.
You start to choke with fear. Your heart is racing. You look around and see snakes. They are everywhere you look, even on the trees. It seems like you are in a nightmare, but you are not.
Man, get them snakes off the fucking screen, man.
Places on our planet, and there are many more of them. We have picked for you the top places you better never go to.
Okay, let's see what that is.
15 most dangerous places in the world. Don't forget to like and subscribe to our channel to make sure you don't miss our videos.
Alright, come on, let's get that going.
Paradise Island, with palm trees and a sunny climate. And the name Bikini Atoll surely reminds you of something. Yes, the action of the famous Nickelodeon animated series SpongeBob SquarePants mainly takes place in the fictional underwater town of Bikini Bottom, which is supposedly located under Bikini Atoll. But this island actually has a very grim history.
The atom bomb is here. It exists.
Yeah. I heard the Bikini Bottom was actually a spot where they test nuclears on.
We must look to the future. Up until now, only 3 have been exploded, and none over the water.
Yeah, they be testing nuclears.
It was here on Bikini Atoll in the Marshall Islands that the U.S. conducted nuclear weapons tests from 1946 to 1958. And just nearby, on Eniwetok Atoll, the first hydrogen bomb was tested on November 1st, 1952. Bikini was chosen because of its remote location and spacious and easily accessible lagoon, and the inhabitants were asked to move to a neighboring atoll. After a council with elders, the ruler Paramount Raj of Bikini inhabitants agreed, and 7 indigenous inhabitants moved to Rongerik Atoll. Unfortunately, the trees and palms of the new home were not so fruitful. Fresh water was not enough, and there were food poisoning cases. The Bikini Atoll's indigenous people were subsequently relocated several more times. But back to the tests. The operation in 1946 was called Crossroads. It involved dozens of warships and airplanes, 25,000 radiation meters, and thousands of laboratory animals were brought to the atoll. There were 2 tests, codenamed Able and Baker. During Able, a bomb was dropped on 73 warships, and the 21-kiloton Baker bomb, dubbed the Helen of Bikini, exploded at a depth of 27 meters, 88.6 feet. Feel what happened at that moment. 2 million tons of water, sand, and powdered coral exploded into the air. The explosion literally shredded the ocean bottom. Scientists who examined it 73 years later found that it had never leveled out. The target ships and the atoll as a whole were heavily contaminated with radioactive material. But at the time, few people realized how severe the contamination would be. Years later, the level of radiation from the impact has significantly decreased, but the problem of contamination from the sunken ships remains. It was just that during the tests, the ships had to be left in full combat readiness. That is, they still had fuel and ammunition. As a result, fuel continues to leak from the Japanese Navy's flagship Nagato, spreading for miles. The third Bikini test, codenamed Castle Bravo, took place in 1954. A hydrogen bomb was detonated over the atoll. The explosion was 1,000 times more powerful than the bomb dropped on. And the fishermen...
It took us a while to find this winner.
Let's get into
I'm
some
looking for
juicy
Sonya.
shit.
Is that you?
Fishermen who saw the guy's body being dragged along the shore were arrested for having brought him there illegally. But even before Chow, encounters with islanders ended badly. In 2006, for example, Sentinel is governed by India. But in reality, this Andaman island in the Bay of Bengal, about the size of Manhattan, 58.8 square kilometers, 22.7 square miles, is a real thing in itself. Its inhabitants are the most isolated tribe in the world, unwilling to embrace civilization.
Oh, hell no.
Yes, they don't know what the dollar, global warming, and online movie theaters are. The Sentinelese for...
Bro, you know what's crazy, yo? Like, we living in this type of environment. We don't be thinking about shit like that. Boy, that just expanded my mind. We don't be thinking about shit like this, yo.
Outsiders from coming to their island and kill those who...
Like, they be talking about pirates and shit. Coming over, taking this, taking that. Yo, that shit be real, man.
Dollar, global warming, and online movie theaters are. The Sentinelese forbid outsiders from coming to their island and kill those who try to get to them. The last time their ferocity was brought up was in 2018. That was when a 26-year-old American missionary, John Chow, who arrived on Sentinel without permission from Indian authorities, tried to land on the island to convert the natives to Christianity. Chow brought a Bible and souvenirs.
Man, is you out your... What the I ain't gonna even say it. Bro, they be taking this religion shit too far, yo. Not everybody wanna be involved with that. That's how you control people, though. Put a religion on them, put that religion up in them, you got them. Now they ain't gonna obey you. They scared to go here, they scared to go there. Man, this was a dumbass move.
The indigenous people made signs ordering him to get out. But the young American did not give up, and next time, he persuaded the fishermen who had brought him to leave him on the shore.
Oh,
it ended tragically. Chow was shot with an arrow, and the fishermen who saw the guy's body being dragged along the shore were arrested for having brought him there illegally.
Oh,
but
damn.
Even before Chow, encounters with islanders ended badly. In 2006, for example, 2 fishermen went to the Sentinel.
So hold the fuck up. He was brought there illegally. So these people know that there's people there that's doing that type shit. They just not ready to go over there and help them out because I guess they feel like they in their own little lane.
Catch crabs. They wanted to negotiate with the islanders, but they killed them immediately. The Sentinelese were not even afraid of the helicopter that came for the bodies and showered it with arrows.
Dang.
This hatred for the iron birds can be explained. 2 years before, there was a severe tsunami, and the local authorities decided to help the indigenous people. They dropped off food supplies and essentials, while accidentally killing one of the Sentinelese with a sack. The issue is complicated by the fact that no one knows or understands the language of the islanders. It is not even known what they call themselves.
Hey, look, check this out. You hear that he say it killed one of them. Not everybody bodies. Y'all know these snacks and all these foods we be eating got chemicals in it like crazy. Like, come on now. Their body is probably pure. They probably taking medicine from herbs and their body's so pure. And you put all these chemicals and all that shit up in their food and then you give it to some people that's pure, they're gonna die, some of them. Some of their bodies, and they must be killed a high-rank guy in their little thing.
Nor is it known how many people live on the island. This makes the North Sentinel one of the most mysterious places on the planet.
It look little on the map.
India is trying to protect the islanders from outside invasion. By law, it is forbidden to approach the North Sentinel any closer than 8 kilometers.
It's crazy because, like...
Indian researchers believe that the Sentinelese should just be left alone and allowed to live the way they do.
Okay.
Another reason is that the islanders have no immunity to diseases that are common in the rest of the world. These diseases can simply kill them. But the island and its inhabitants are very interesting for the tourists who visit the neighboring tribes. So, can they be protected in the age of globalization? We don't know, but we'd better stay away from them for now.
Right.
Meanwhile, staying away from the next subject of our top 15 is not so...
Hey, bro, look at this. Check it out. And that happened in 2018. Hey, bro, what if they out there, right, getting shit together, right, to come the fuck over here? Bro, like, they could be grouping up, having fun. Motherfucker coming up over here. Start killing shit, but they ain't gonna... It couldn't be like that, though, because, like, they'll take a long ass time, boy. You take a whole damn old year to have one baby, so, like, but we don't know how many of them over there. I'm just thinking ahead. But we got guns.
For the locals.
We got guns.
Are you interested in starting your own faceless YouTube automation channel, but all people do is tell you to go to frickin'...
We got guns, so... This shit weird.
At the end of August 2010, the Cinnabung stratovolcano woke up after 400 years of sleep.
Okay.
The giant, with a height of 2,460 meters, 8,070 feet, is located in the north of Sumatra Island in Indonesia.
Okay.
People have been settling near it for ages, not realizing how dangerous it is. Indonesia is located on the tectonic faults of the Pacific Ring of Fire and ranks first in the world by the number of volcanoes. There are 147 of them in the country, of which 130 are active. And as many as 9 million Indonesians live close to active volcanoes. That is, within 10 kilometers, 6.2 miles from them. Since Cinnabung came out of hibernation, it has erupted almost every year, sometimes several times a year. As a result, airplanes flying through the region have to change their routes. Each eruption is accompanied by the evacuation of between 6,000 and 20,000 locals.
What makes this
but
the
sometimes
dangerous?
Things end tragically.
Alright.
In 2014, for example, this fire-breathing monster took at least 16 lives because people living within 5 kilometers, 3.1 miles from it, were allowed to return home when they thought the eruption had stopped.
Okay. Now, I'm pretty sure. No, not everybody got common sense, because common sense is not common. I'm pretty sure that motherfucker hot as motherfucker over there. And I'm feeling heat, and I'm like, yo, I'm not going over there yet. It's hot as a motherfucker. And then I know it got a fume to it.
Shortly after, the volcano erupted again.
Okay.
A journalist who wanted to take a closer shot was killed.
Damn.
As were 4 children from a local school, along with a teacher who decided to observe the eruption. In 2016, the volcano killed 7 more people and seriously injured 3 others.
Damn.
And it was an epic show when it woke up. A column of ash and smoke rose to a height of 3 kilometers, 1.9 miles.
Okay.
12,000 residents of surrounding villages had to be evacuated from their homes. But that proved to be just the beginning. In the evening of the same day, the outbursts continued. At the same time, an earthquake struck, affecting an area within 25 kilometers, 15.5 miles of the epicenter. A few more days later, Cinnabung fired a 3rd portion of ash.
Damn.
The sound of the explosion could be heard at a distance of 8 kilometers, 5 miles. In 2021, the volcano erupted as many as 5 times, starting in January and ending in July. Last time, in addition to a 4.5, very few plants, so you would have to eat mostly meat and fish, sometimes in frozen form. Vegetarians, this is and are outbuildings with no... The pipes freeze here, so most toilets are outbuildings with no water supply. The ground also freezes, and there are very few plants, so you would have to eat mostly meat and fish, sometimes in frozen form. Vegetarians, this is not the right place for you. The engines here freeze so fast that they are not turned off sometimes, even at night. And when you walk on the street, your eyelashes get covered with frost.
Man, get the
It's a
fuck outta
place
here.
where winter is coming all the time. Welcome to Oymyakon, a remote Yakut village in eastern Siberia near the Arctic Circle.
Oh,
In
hell.
1924, the temperature dropped to a record
Man,
low
get
of
the
minus
hell outta
71.2
here.
degrees Celsius, minus 96.2 degrees Fahrenheit. The average winter temperature is minus 50 degrees Celsius, minus 58 degrees Fahrenheit. The village itself was founded in the 1920s.
That's too
Here,
fucking cold.
shepherds used to water their reindeer from the thermal spring in winter. During the shortest days of the year, the night in Oymyakon lasts 21 hours. Every March, the village hosts the Pole of Cold Festival, which is the name given to the areas with the lowest temperatures. According to
Bro.
beliefs, the festival is held by Chaiskan, the Yakut spirit of cold. He looks like something between Gandalf and the Ice Queen from Frozen. In summer, the temperatures in Oymyakon can reach 35.5 degrees Celsius, 96 degrees Fahrenheit.
That's fucking
However,
summer.
the daily temperature
That's
swings
summer.
are large, and it can be 15 to 20 degrees Celsius, 59 to 68 degrees Fahrenheit cooler at night than it is during the day. No wonder that the Pole of Cold has become a point of attraction for record lovers. In 2019, for example, Oymyakon hosted the world's first ever race in record low temperatures. At the time of the start, the temperature was minus 48 degrees Celsius, minus 54.4 degrees Fahrenheit. It lasted 4 hours, and during this time, runners covered several different distances. The participants were from France, India, Italy, Austria, and Taiwan.
Man, get
A
the
resident
fuck
of
outta
Japan
here.
also dared to do an extreme act. He bathed in Oymyakon in the river at a temperature of minus 60 degrees
Man, get the
Celsius,
fuck outta here. He
minus
died.
76 degrees Fahrenheit.
That nigga
The
died.
man ran out of the van in his underwear, plunged into the water several times, and came back. His photo was later posted on YouTube and gained over 200,000 views. It's chilling to even look at, isn't it? This one of the most dangerous places in the world has also become one of the most romantic ones at the same time. Swiss Patrick Baumann proposed to his French girlfriend, Anne Séverine Boulard. The couple came to Oymyakon specifically for this purpose and made a movie about it. However, Anne couldn't put the ring on because of the frost.
Man.
I hope you didn't get place.
Wait, stop! Don't skip this video because I've got incredible news for you and your hair. If you're
Adrenaline rush, this 36,956 square kilometers, 52,879 square miles across Ethiopia, Eritrea, and Djibouti. So you don't have to go to space at all to see Martian landscapes. Here in the Danakil Desert, they are formed by salt deposits. The Afar people who inhabit this area have been mining salt for centuries. It was used as currency in Ethiopia until the 20th century. It's thick deposits, in some places up to 800 meters, 2,625 feet deep. And the petrified corals that have been found here suggest that there used to be an ocean on the place of this desert.
Oh, wow.
And imagine, you are standing under the ruthless sun, feeling the salt brought by the wind on your lips, and inhaling the air filled with poisonous gases.
Man, get the fuck out of here.
Yes, even breathing in the Danakil Desert is harmful. That's because the air contains high concentrations of poisonous sulfur vapors.
Man, get
Therefore,
the fuck out
researchers believe that even a short stay in this desert can impact health. The temperature is no less dangerous. During the day, it exceeds 50 degrees Celsius, 122 degrees Fahrenheit, and generally, it rarely falls below this mark. There is only 25 millimeters, 1 inch of rainfall per year. No
1
wonder
inch.
it is one of the hottest and most lifeless places in the world. Part of the desert is the Danakil Depression, one of the lowest places on the planet. It is 125 meters, 410 feet below sea level. On winter mornings, the temperature here may well fluctuate around 37 degrees Celsius, 98.6 degrees Fahrenheit, and the overall maximum temperature is 63 degrees Celsius, 145.4 degrees Fahrenheit. It is not for nothing that British researcher Wilfred Thesiger called the Donaquil Desert the Land of Death. And a group of researchers in 2016 studied whether microbes could live in reservoirs of boiling water found in the Donaquil Desert. This way, they wanted to find out whether similar organisms could survive on Mars.
Bro, that look like a bunch of mold. Bro, that look like a bunch of mold just left alone.
That these organisms could survive in such a harsh environment.
Low-key it look
but
hard.
You wouldn't like these hot springs. Their water has an average pH of 0.2, which means it's about as acidic as battery acid.
Oh my God.
The Donaquil Desert is also a volcanically active area. Here, just in the depression, there is a dormant volcano, Ayelu, and active volcanoes, Dalal and Irtale. Who knows when they will decide to erupt? All this increases the risk of staying in this place, adding points to its dangerous reputation. Nevertheless, tourists actively strive to come here, despite the dangers, or maybe just because of them.
I would go.
In the next place of our top
I'll be
15,
going looking just like
breathing is no less difficult. If you decide to stay here for longer than 10 minutes, you can get heat stroke, and
Oh
your
my
lungs
God,
can
get
fill
the
up
fuck
with
out of
fluid.
here.
No, you are not on the edge of a volcano, but in the Cave of the Crystals in Mexico. The place resembles Superman's Fortress of Solitude. The cave was discovered in 2000. A mining company called Industrias Peñoles in the Mexican state of Chihuahua pumped water out of it. And two brothers, miners Juan and Pedro Sanchez, were amazed when their flashing lights caught the glow of giant crystals. No, not Swarovski, out of the darkness. But they were no less beautiful. It was selenite, a crystalline variety of gypsum.
Selenite.
These were real columns you could walk on. Many crystals were 4 to 6 meters, 13.1 to 19.6 feet long, and the largest were 11 meters, 36 feet.
Damn.
They were about 1 meter, 3.2 feet thick. How did this amazing natural masterpiece form? The crystals grew for at least 500,000 years at a depth of 300 meters, 984 feet beneath the Sierra de Naica. Tectonic fault lines run through this area. About 26 million years ago, magma began to move through them, and eventually the mountain was formed. And the cave itself is a U-shaped cavity in the limestone under the mountain. For tens of thousands of years, it was filled with groundwater. It contained the mineral anhydrite. The magma beneath the cave kept the water hot, but eventually its temperature dropped to just under 58 degrees Celsius, 136 degrees Fahrenheit, and the anhydrite began to break down in the new conditions, decomposing into calcium and sulfate. The particles began to slowly form a crystalline form of gypsum, otherwise known as selenite. The cave began to fill with selenite crystals. They stayed underwater and grew steadily. Of course, they didn't turn into giants overnight. For example, it takes 500,000 to 900,000 years for a crystal with a diameter of 1 meter, 3.2 feet to grow. By the way, this cave with selenite was not the first one discovered. In 1910, another cavity was found 120 meters, 394 feet above the Cave of the Crystals at a depth of 120 meters, 394 feet. It was called the Cave of Swords because its crystals resembled these cold weapons, but the selenite outgrowths in it were much smaller, no more than 2.5 meters, 8.2 feet long. Most probably the reason for this is that the Cave of Swords cooled down much faster, and the crystals simply did the fact that seismic
Garfield.
I just want to see some other shit.
The eating you're about to see will not be pretty. When this indoor cat goes on an outdoor adventure, he'll need a little help from his best friend.
Oh, come on,
Got
bro.
mad skills. The Garfield movie, rated PG.
Most people have no clue that in 2023, the best way to make money on Amazon is not.
Seismologists warned of the risk of a mass all roads to be closed, and hundreds of people were virtually stuck inside Death Valley National Park. But let's move to an area that is no less formidable, where people also have to get used to extreme conditions. Would you risk tasting radioactive octopus or bathing in radioactive water? And some have no choice. On March 11th, 2011, a 9-magnitude earthquake struck Japan in the waters of the Pacific Ocean, northeast of Tokyo. It was the most powerful earth tremors in this country in the history of modern observations. They triggered a tsunami. Monstrous 30 to 40 meter, 98 to 131 feet high waves demolished houses, cars, and airplanes at airports. The two disasters killed nearly 20,000 people, and more than 2,500 are reported missing. The earthquake de-energized the Fukushima Daiichi nuclear power plant, and the tsunami flooded basements with diesel generators. Emergency cooling systems at the plant failed, and nuclear fuel melted in the reactors of 3 units. This eventually led to a series of explosions and the release of radioactive substances into the atmosphere.
Wow.
The area remains contaminated to this day. The exclusion zone reaches for 20 to 30 kilometers, 12 to 19 miles. The accident did not outstrip Chernobyl, but it was the worst nuclear power plant disaster of the 21st century. But it could have been avoided. Fukushima Daiichi was built by TEPCO. It was their first nuclear power plant. The initial mistake was building the plant too close to the ocean.
Right.
And the second mistake was that the maximum designed load was a 7-magnitude earthquake and a 3.1 meter, 10 feet high tsunami. This was despite the fact that seismologists warned of the risk of a massive tsunami in the Fukushima Daiichi area back in 2002. More than 10 years after the accident, Fukushima is gradually recovering. Residents of the hastily abandoned towns are
Man, that was a little preview of the most dangerous places to go to. Some of the places surprised me a little bit, but hey man, it was a good little video.